if you've made it this far, you're a good student. And if you made it this far, you're definitely going to be more successful in life. And if you're following what I'm saying and you're absorbing what I'm saying and working with it and making truly committed effort to engage it and let this become part of your flow of experience, you're on your way to being a superior human being and having greater success in life. More things will come to you, your problems will dissolve, and everything will be absolutely magnificent. A very unspecified language there. All those who pay attention to what I'm saying are getting the true message, and all other messages or all other teachings of NLP are only demonic distortions. Meta model that. There's so much to go with there. Anything that involves overgeneralization, everybody knows, everybody understood, any fool can understand, those who, so those are the generalization type problems and the overgeneralizations that happen. And boy, during hot under the collar electoral periods is either elections going on, especially right leading up to a presidential election, man, do you hear overgeneralizations? I mean, conscious, deliberate, slimy, mean, slanderous, libelous overgeneralizations about entire classes of people. All Republicans are thugs. All liberals are angry. Labor wants to destroy the United Kingdom and destroy the history of the United Kingdom, and basically there's a plot to collapse the entire history from the Battle of Hastings until 2066, and that will be the millennium, and then the entire process will implode, and I guarantee you the United Kingdom will cease to exist. It will simply be overrun by a new barbarian horde that will convert it into some kind of floating party barge. So you get these wild overgeneralizations. In some cases, wild overgeneralizations taken a little too far are symptomatic of paranoid personalities. Paranoia, I think, in clinical paranoia, tends to be very obsessed with forming generalizations and overgeneralizations with not too much supporting information underneath them. They just kind of arise and seem to globalize in someone's thinking. So when we're thinking about the meta model and its way of tackling distortions, deletions, and generalizations, we have to understand that the mind needs to distort, delete, and generalize because there's just too damn much information out there, and you can't get through it all. You just can't wade through it all on a bit-by-bit basis. So you have to have sort of a means of data compression. And that's what Alconen Goldberg was talking about when he said, well, language evolved as a means of data compression. So we are compressing data. And the more you compress data, the more ambiguous it becomes because you can't capture all the specifying information. And what the mind is extremely good at is disambiguating or decompressing this information and then filling it full of assumptions and connections and sort of building workable working models. So where does the meta model serve us the best? I think the first place we should really use it, and the most effective place and generally the most valuable place, is using it internally with oneself to make it something like one's morning meditation. Before you go out in the morning, if you had a little meta model list and you read through it, say 5 times, and you really thought about it point by point. Okay, when am I going to be generalizing and overgeneralizing? When will I be using lost performatives? When will I be doing mind reading? When will I be doing complex equivalences? When will I be establishing cause-effect relationships? When will I be doing presuppositions? And how far should I do that? What will be an adequate and sufficient degree of that? And when should I start checking in and thinking, God, I know I have to do some mind reading because you have to. You have to do a certain degree of imputing intention. You can't go up to everybody and take a deposition from everybody at all times and know exactly what they mean and how they define everything and what their intentions are. You have to make a lot of assumptions. So mind reading is very natural and normal. And you have to say, well, at what point have we gone a little too far? Okay, that's where you can really use some of your DHE tools, whether you want to have like a meter, or you want to have some kind of thing that changes color, or like a thermometer, or something that dials, something that you can say, okay, I'm kind of getting that there's too much mind reading and I need to really back this off and double check. I can't just kind of go with my first impression. I better look at this again and think about this a little more deeply. What am I presupposing? What are my assumptions? And people get into so much mucked up trouble by presupposing things without just asking a few very good questions. So this will shift over. I'm going to shift over a little bit to sleight of mouth ideas and hierarchy of criteria, because it's a very important hierarchy of criteria point I'm going to raise here, and that's this. It has to do with values. Different people from different subcultures and different family cultures and different family systems and different personal histories and personal experience will put different values on mental precision. And some people put a tremendous value, and they're very careful thinkers, and they're very disciplined, and they have extremely precise and very, very tight tolerance thinking. In some cases, it becomes so precise and so tight tolerance, they can't really do anything because everything has got to be run through this kind of like spell check algorithm, this meta model check that's so tight that the thinking just moves at a glacial pace, because all they're doing is thinking and checking and rechecking and looking for references and trying to surface hidden presuppositions and things like that. And it takes them forever. I mean, we had some family friends like this. It was like talking to these people. At the end of an evening of talking to them, you felt like you'd moved like 1 centimeter of mental progress, because like they had to go through so much mentalization of everything. So I think there, your meter should go, okay, that's way too much, putting it all through the interpretive grid. And I've had other friends and other acquaintances who were just so careless and so sloppy. They didn't really think of facts as kind of fixed things. To them, facts were just kind of colorful, decorative, like Christmas ornaments they kind of put on that they just kind of, it had no real basis. It just sort of sounded good, or it just sort of gave some charm or atmosphere to the discussion. And conversations with these guys was like getting drunk and getting in a car and driving like crazy on frozen lakes, and slamming on the brakes and seeing all the crazy patterns you could make, totally out of control. In either case, I think we want to have a meter saying, that's probably going really too far unless you're involved in a lawsuit or something, and this is really going too far unless you're doing performance art. There's some middle slot where your values as to what's a good, meaningful, common sense take on the level of accuracy you're going to get.